Yo, welcome. Welcome, everyone. How we doing? Can you focus on me? There we go. Good afternoon. Happy Black Friday. Gonna get to Mikey Tang just posted a video. How about that? What's up? Good afternoon. We're gonna be doing some bowling. Maybe a little bit. There we go. Save. How's everyone Thanksgiving? All right. Oh. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Did anyone watch our bowler impersonations video? That I completely botched, man. I completely botched it. Really kind of sucks, but that's okay. Where are we at here? What's up? Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, dude, the Pete Weber one, I was gonna do that. You think I am, but then I threw the shot and I thought it was gonna go in the gutter, and it just like completely threw me off, man. But to be honest, what I should have done was when he gave Michael Haugen the business. Those are the fun ones. Or that was a fun one. Oh. Wow. Oh, wait. Getting old. Yeah, the Mika. I thought Kyle, when we didn't really know we were going to be doing like the celebrations and stuff. It was kind of just on the whim. So even though Kyle, like, I mean, doing Parker's impossible. A couple of them are impossible. Glenn Comita, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Hope your Thanksgiving was good. I'm gonna pin a comment to this video because we are having 25% off our website. So I'm gonna at least try and pin a comment. I don't know exactly what we're doing. Did anyone see that crazy Chiefs game yesterday that pissed me off? I mean, they're just out to get us. However, we did get lucky for a long time. Oh, here we go. You lost picture? No, you didn't. You liar. Yeah, that first one's kind of rough. Pulling on some string pins. We got any string pin haters out there? We're going to open you up. Black Friday special. 25% off. Wait, I think I should be doing that. Yeah, okay. Wait, didn't do the link. I think I need to change that. Can you click that link? Works on anything. So we have a few products. We have t-shirts, coaching products, master lining. our Brad and Kyle membership. However, bowled a tournament here this weekend. Got waxed. Got any regionals in Missouri? I don't think so. We're going to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs? You talking about the Chiefs? Are there any Black Friday tournaments? That's what we need. Because there's tournaments everywhere Wednesday, but there's none Friday. Oh, yep. Wow. I cannot believe I didn't tell you the promo code. Let me repin that. That's why I hang out with you guys. Chiefs don't have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Dude, do you know what you're talking about? Talking about Patrick Mahomes. Did you see him sitting on the sideline yesterday? BF25. That's what it is. So merch, you can get 25% off Master of the Lane. Which Master of the Lane, it's pretty money. You should look into it. All right. It lasts all weekend. You're good. You got time. Wow. I didn't have one strike like that Wednesday. Hey, Brad, bowling in different climates professionally. Have you experienced having to bowl under the weather? What are some tips? Meaning like you're sick? Yeah, dude, just bowl on tour. Everyone's sick. We're in Detroit in February. We're just locked indoors. I don't know. Wow. This Viking is kind of money. Yeah, so kind of depends on what under the weather is. If you just got typical cold symptoms, I mean, you basically just do everything you possibly can that helps you feel better. So drink warm liquids, get some good sleep. Don't put anything that hurts you in your body. Wow, this must be a fresh house shot. But it's easy to be pretty irritated when you're sick, and this game really is very irritating. So you got to be patient with yourself. You got to But then there's times where you're sick and you're just kind of lifeless, and you just don't quite care, and you actually end up bowling really good. Maybe I should leave these up. I wonder. I have one but too clean at box finish, then I don't have a higher. But then I don't have a high rev rate. Oh, I mean, you don't need a high rev rate. Hey, Brad, what's going to be percentage on the PBA next season? What does that mean? Percentage? Yeah, dude. Sometimes you just like, you're ready to die, and everything goes your way. See, that's the difference between hitting it and not hitting it. I was hitting the 2, They go perfectly through the pins, and then sorry, had to. Hey, Mike. I think my lane's gonna do the old shut off in 9 minutes. Am I hosing you? Oh, that's the other computer? Okay. Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah. How do I know if my rev rate matches up with my ball speed? Well, do you strike a lot? Wow, my thumb hole is slick, dude. I need to replace my tape. Wow, I almost lost that. Yeah, generally, I mean, you should have room at all times, even on sports shots. Because even though it's a sports shot, it is possible wow, maybe I'm just greasy. They're still shaped to most sports shots, so. Huh. But it does take better execution for sure, and your speed control has to be point on. But all right, that'll do. Jonathan Rouse says, tell Soroka to his job for once and tell him I can't be there Thursday. All right. Oh, man. I am not going to be able to get out of that. Wow. You know what's crazy to me is how tight Parker Bone and Chris Barnes have their thumb holes. Man, it just makes me... I'm going to try that again. Oh, my goodness. Man. I have early timing. Ball's in good position after third step. My ball comes too quickly. Starts down just before my fifth step. My backswing is shoulder high. Yeah, Tommy Jones too. What's up, Deuce? I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe I need a little tighter. Blowing on sport and challenge pattern on string pins. I hit it with a light 2000. That's what it is. Yeah, but you should essentially have room. If you feel like you can't miss down the lane or to the right, you have too much ball speed. Plain and simple. I tend to drift about 5 boards right during my approach. Is that something I should work on eliminating, or is it okay as long as I'm consistent? No, you're good. It's gonna help you hook the ball a little bit. You're not gonna love playing straight. If you want to play straight better, I would walk straighter. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the tight thumb's not for me. Happy Thanksgiving, man. Everyone, go check out Dog Tags Bowling. Awesome guys, awesome group out of the Midwest, Indiana, Chicago, Milwaukee. We see them every year. One of the only people to get Kimberly Pressler on an interview. Very impressive, by the way. Any advice from Missouri bowlers going to join the PBA? Oh, man. I don't know, man. I feel like if you are asking that question, then I don't know. You need a lot of work. Because you're going up against EJ Tackett. Have you ever went up against EJ Tackett? That guy will do some stuff. Can you help with any timing issues? Yes. Whatever you want. Whew. Have you thought about going to a clinic? We'd love to have you at a clinic. What can I do to work on fixing early timing? Okay, so delay the ball. Just hold the push away for a little bit longer. Get that third step down quick. That's that rash, man. He's got quick 3 feet. Arguably the best bowler in the world. I don't think there's much arguing there. That guy has been the best. That's really what I need to do a little bit better at is lofting it. That's one thing EJ's great at is he can get like right here loaded. And he's like up trajectory with it. I have trouble staying up the back. I'm not quite a spinner, but have lots of rotation. My ball seems to slide too much on the heavier patterns. Yeah. So a lot of people would consider that to be like, I don't have enough hand. I consider that you have too much ball speed. That hooked. Good. Hey, Amina. Good to see you. Oh. Can you guys see the pins? Oh, backswing. Yeah, Glenn. There we go. Gotta love that. The ball starts down before my fifth step. We'll just wait on it. What we call wait on it. Just lag the ball a little bit longer. Try not to release it. Guy on the phone. That's funny. Appreciate that. I don't put a lot of hand in the ball, though, in today's world. Trying to, though. Move the camera to the right. Yeah, I was kind of worried about that. That's right. The late hit string pin. I'm on the coast in North Carolina. Do you all have any clinics near the East Coast? Yes. So we have one in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It's not. Yeah, you're North Carolina, so it's not too bad. January 18th. So Allentown at Steel City, Bowl and Brews. Man, that's a hook. It's 2 days. Yeah, I'm in KC. It's a day and a half. Spend all day Saturday. Yeah, Bowler X folks. And then half day Sunday, and we classroom and a bunch of time on the lanes, and you get a bowling ball. Just go to, I'll put a link. Go there and click on clinics. And then we also have one here in Kansas City. Allentown, I don't know if it's his hometown, but he's around there somewhere. I think his is it? No, I mean, I thought Allentown was PA. Patrick Allen, Andy Bowles. What's up, dog? What is Billy Neal? Langhorn? Langston, Langhorn, Longin, something. I got a double. Man, when you hit flush on string pins, it just looks nice. Anybody bowling today? Everyone has to go back to work? What's going on? I got nothing to bowl this weekend. Does anyone bowl anything this weekend? Yeah, now? All right, brother. Still enjoy. Kevin Anderson, I appreciate that. How much does the average PBA player practice per week? I don't know. Kind of depends on the person. Not as much as you would think, though. Won the 9-pin yesterday. Right on. Tuesday night league. I bowled a league the other night. Throwing this Viking. Pin down. I don't know if you guys can see that. My first tournament since coming back after 10 years is tomorrow. All right, good luck. Yeah, I mean, try opening up. I mean, trial and error most stuff, for sure. Open the hips up, start it, open, see what happens. If you need a little bit more, try it again. But if you can't get the ball going to the right, don't necessarily just focus on your hips. Focus on your shoulder, too. That thing's got to stay back. If it comes in and closes in. All right. It's kind of hard. I'm moving right. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing. Anyone coming to holiday doubles? We got holiday doubles. Actually, I'm going to Pennsylvania next weekend. And then holiday doubles the weekend after that, where I'm going to be live streaming most of it. So, bowling with Eric Sachs, one of the squads. So that's going to be fun. What's your favorite hotel in Vegas? Red Rock's pretty nice. I would definitely, I mean, my, like, on the Strip, I say Red Rock because they have a bowling alley. I like to support them. But on the Strip, it's probably either Fontainebleau or Resorts World. In terms of, like, architecture and the newer stuff, and it's all lit up. It's all nice, brand new. But a little nostalgic. When I was in Vegas last, when I was hanging out at around the area of the Fontainebleau and the Resorts World, I kind of looked south of there toward the rest of the Strip and thought it was kind of old. Like the Bellagio now kind of feels old compared to those newer ones. This is a nice thing to practice on. Hello from Ohio. What's up, Dave? The Michael Marcus, I think it's in Allentown too. It might be in Scranton. Not exactly sure. Pretty cool tournament. Am I working on anything right now? Right now I'm just kind of warming up. I'm going to Vegas next month for a tournament. Which one? Where's it at? They got, I wish we ran more tournaments at Red Rock. Man, I just wish we were associated with that place. That'd be awesome. It's super nice there. But we mostly bowl at Gold Coast, Orleans, and South Point. Yeah, South Point. South Point's great because it's super nice. I mean, it's got a great pool. It's got all the restaurants. It's got fairly cheap gambling. It's super. The rooms are nice. There's 2 different bowling alleys that you can kind of look at, or at least bowl in one of them. I love going to South Point. I mean, I think it's a fantastic place to at least bowl some tournaments. We went to Reno last year for like 2.5 weeks for the World Series, and we had to stay in the hotel, the rooms in the hotel. And it's not bad, but downtown Reno is not super amazing to spend 2.5 weeks. But South Point's kind of away from everything and just kind of relaxing. Oh. However, everything's gotten so expensive. So just to like eat out or a meal or something, man, they get you. What's going on? G. Bryant. I love South Point. Yeah, dude. South Point's great. What's up? From Wisconsin. It's a huge college bowling tournament. And so, oh, okay. Yeah. So we never went to that one. I went to sectionals one year in Vegas for a college tournament. Outside of that, I don't think we ever went back to Vegas. But my freshman year, we went to Vegas for sectionals, and our team was a bunch of partiers basically. So it was kind of crazy, and we were bowling terrible. And I remember Ryan Council gets in the huddle and gives us like all this crazy big, motivational speech. We flipped it around, man. Ended up making it. And then we had nationals that year at Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. Anyone familiar with Cherry? I'm pretty sure it had the like the red gutters and maybe wood lanes back then. I'm not totally sure if it was wood. However, speaking of wood, I bowled this tournament in Oklahoma City this past weekend. Holiday lanes, half synthetic, half wood. The Japan Cup, yeah, I went to the Japan Cup one time. God, by myself. It was pretty nuts. It was like my second or third year on tour, and nobody wanted to go, so I accepted. It was really neat. That was one of my favorite experiences ever. Shout out Robert Lee. If you ever heard of Robert Lee, he lives in Japan, and he hooked me up, him and Josh Blanchard. I'm forever in debt to Josh Blanchard for at least allowing me to hang out with him for the week, because I literally went there by myself. Barely got to my hotel, couldn't read or write or knew nothing about the culture. It was so stupid. I didn't even like do any research. But and then Josh asked me to go to lunch one day. And then that was with Robert Lee, and Robert Lee basically like took care of everything, man. Like he made sure we were ordering the right stuff and what is what, and he told us where to go and what to do, and he picked me up and chauffeured me around, and he took me to the airport at the end of the trip and booked a hotel room for us. And like I'm just I don't know what, I mean, I would have been literally by myself in Tokyo, which I kind of was anyway, which was fine. I was like 24 in a new country, you know, I was just living the dream. I actually went out there to bowl the PTQ. I wasn't even actually in the tournament. I missed the PTQ by one pin. I flew all the way out to Japan to bowl the PTQ, this Japan Cup, and missed it by one single pin. So then I didn't bowl the tournament, which the qualifying was just the next day anyway. I think they had 14 total games the next day. So it would have guaranteed me one more day of bowling, but I just sat there and watched, and then because most of the people, they went together and they bus together, and then at the end of the day they would all take the same bus. And I was supposed to go with Jake Peters, and he couldn't end up making it last second, and I had stayed by myself, and I would walk to the bowling alley every day. It was like a 2-mile walk, and I would just walk and see downtown Tokyo, and it was awesome. It was such a cool. My choice, wood or synthetic? Dude, I'm choosing wood. I'm choosing wood all day long. Give me wood. Bring wood back. Hashtag save wood. There's so much hook on wood. It's crazy. The difference in that Oklahoma tournament, we were both 2 games on synthetic and 2 games on wood. And on the wood, it's 2 feet longer, and you can literally throw it as hard as you want. Like, it's just automatically going to hook, for sure. It's going to hook. There's just so much hook. Save wood, I know. Where did you and Kyle first meet? We went to the same college, so we've known each other. Look at that. I need to camp there. I need to camp there for 2 months. And get every touch, every angle, every entry angle, every roll, every speed, and just lock it in, because that's where you spend most of your time. But now everyone in the industry can hook the ball really well, so it's very hard to like gain pins hooking the ball. It's like they, when Walter Ray was killing them, you know, guys like Robert Smith would come in, but they would only get their pins when the lanes broke down. They would struggle on the fresh. Walter Ray would shoot a 750, and then when they broke down, he would struggle, and then Robert Smith would get his pins, and it was kind of like, hopefully there was a decent mix, but Walter Ray ended up having a hook game too and just made it work. But now everyone hooks the ball like crazy. I got a four bagger and I yank it. How many 300s do I have? I don't know. It's a good question. I haven't bowled league in 3 years. So if I don't bowl a 300 in a regional or a national tournament, so I probably haven't had a 300. I think I had one this past year on tour, but outside of that, I'm probably only getting 1 to 2 a year. But I probably got around 60. Maybe. I stopped counting around like 40 or something. How do you register for the January 18th clinic? Here, go to Brad and Kyle. I'll just send you the exact link. Straight to the page. So the clinic on the left is the one in Allentown. So just click on it, and then you should just be able to purchase it right there. My husband has a hop at the end of his delivery. He's always done it, but wonder that's kept it from improving. He averages 200 on house. No, not really. I mean, it's not ideal, but that's not the first thing I would like. I would teach him different angles and make sure he's got the right bowling balls in his hand and make sure he's got the right cues on like when to switch and what to switch to and where to play. And, you know, if you're good at putting all that together, then it's totally possible to have some kind of hop. I generally don't like taking the individually out. I mean, if we look at this, see, you can hop. I think the hop would take care of itself once other things get worked on. Brad does a great Belmani impression. I don't know if that was all that great. It wasn't bad. There's not a whole lot to Belmo. He just drifts really far left initially, opens his hips, and then spanks on it. He's got great balance. I don't know how to get that position, but yeah, no problem, Jay. And if you have any more, you know, if anyone has any questions here, I'll put our email. And if you ever have any questions ever, just send an email to that. What do we got? 6 in a row, dude? Holy smokes. I'll go with the hop again. Oh, that was bad. I will say hopping and having like getting the ball into the lane and having like a little bit lower trajectory, they go against each other. I find it hard to get it into the lane quick with a hop. So that's where I don't mind him having a hop, but he's at some point going to have to lay the ball down into the lane to create some kind of different angle. It's a really nice adjustment to have. And I think once he kind of learns that, the hop will go away. The Norm impression was better. I actually was impressed with the Norm impression because I held the balance really well, and it was like a really straight shot. And I mean, him shooting 300 with the strikers, I'm not even sure. I don't think I was there. I might have been there when he did that. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think that was one of the years I wasn't on a team and I just didn't go. Yeah, that one ended up pretty funny. That video ended up pretty funny. We're hoping that one does pretty good. 7-bagger? Wow. Oh no. Put some hand in it, Brad. Put some hand in it. Can you guys see the pins when I at least throw a shot? Am I screwing you guys? Wow, your dog passed away? I'm sorry, brother. That's terrible. Man, I had it rolling. There it is. Is the PBA majors going to raise their place checks to 200K? Nah. My highest series is 858, maybe. I think it's 858. That was at Blue Springs Bowl? No, maybe it was at St. Charles Lanes. Look at this. I got an 848 and 858. I think the 848 was Blue Springs Bowl and the 858 was St. Charles Lanes. Coming to the Bradley this year, I think they changed the time. I think it's in March now. I lost the NBA 2K and now I'm sad. Yeah, the Norm celebration for the 300 for the Strikers was pretty epic. It's pretty epic. Some cool stuff that happened up there in Maine. And we're going back this year for doubles. No hand. How many times have I bowled a 300? I don't know, 50. I'm a two-handed bowler lately. I'm beginning to realize my finger flip finally two-right release. What do fingers point any spirit? Nah. Any updates on the PBA schedule next year? Not yet. Just we've seen when the shows are going to be. But there's going to be a World Series at some point, somewhere. I don't know when it'll be. It'll probably be just after the CW season, 10 weeks. And where could that be? It could be in Reno. It could be in Vegas. It could be in Detroit. But I think we go to Detroit this year already for the Masters. Probably Reno or Vegas. Yeah, when they get it totally done, they'll email us the schedule. Yeah, like when we have to be there and the formats and stuff. When I go practice, it's on house, and then I bowl on sport patterns for tournaments. What do you recommend to work on while bowling on house? I try to work on spares in different lines and angles, different speeds. And anytime you start hooking the ball on sport shots, you need slower ball speed. Yeah, you might need a few more revs, but you can get a lot more revs if your ball speed's a little bit slower. Does your second step in your approach go left or right or straight? Having troubles with mine. It's supposed to like cross over in front of your first one, because that kind of helps you start to like open your angles a little bit. But if it kind of just goes straight in front of you, I think that's okay. String pins, man. You already, Amina. Slow ball speed's nice. Slow ball speed is where it's at. So, oh, okay. So Jonathan Forsyth, are you in this live right now? Because you just signed up for our membership, brother. Appreciate it. I've been waiting on slowing down for the past month. It's tricky. You got to take everything out of it. I mean, you got to take everything out of it. So you can't expect to throw the ball a little bit slower and still have like a fast, large follow through. You got to really get down to a gear that you're probably not comfortable with. But you'll notice that you don't, like that right there, that was probably 13 mile an hour. You'll notice that the momentum of your body creates all the ball speed. You really don't need to do anything at all. And whenever you get that feel where it's kind of just your body's walking and then the swing just comes through, trust me, it's a initially it's a much different feel. It's kind of like the Chris Prather effect, right? Like he looks like he does nothing to the ball. That's normal to him. Most people, that's not normal to do that type of tempo. So when you actually do it, it's going to feel pretty awful, but then you'll kind of realize what tempo feels like. Before we just like get in this approach and we try and like hit the ball and you're not really like feeling the motion. Once you kind of do, it's like, oh, I don't have to really do a whole lot. I can kind of just like set the ball out in front of me and the roll's already there. And now you got to have like a strong position. You know, you can't be on top of the ball. But if you're in a strong position, I mean, all you got to do is just create the momentum. The rest does itself. How do you improve on lane play? Well, you got to get out there and bowl a lot. I mean, you got to see what the better bowlers are doing. You have to see how the better bowlers are playing the lanes, what balls they're throwing. That's honestly the best way. Get out into tournaments, see what, or into the best leagues. And if guys are averaging 240 in leagues, see what they're doing. Are they playing straighter? Are they hooking it? And try and do what they do. And when you can't, just kind of work on it a little bit. You know, ask questions, get some coaching, whatever. But there's only so many things you can do. There's only so many angles you can play, and there's only so many balls you can throw. There's speeds you can throw and rev rate. There's a great bowler in all categories. So however you throw it, there's a great bowler somewhere that's making it work, whether it's slow ball speed, whether it's no rev rate. And so you can be a 220, 230 average bowler with slow ball speed and no rev rate. Similar to like what an aging guy would be, 70-year-old guy, like a really good bowler, like I know he was a Hall of Fame legend, but when we went down to Jensen Beach Bowl, the guy that down in Florida near Port St. Lucie, Nelson Burton Jr., you know, he's like 75 years old, and he's still shooting honor scores out there. And yes, he knows what he's doing, but the fact remains is if you kind of know what you're doing, then you kind of realize you don't need a whole lot. You need to be able to, you know, create the right entry angle for the most part. But if you don't have a 550 rev rate, well, then you got to let the ball have a lot more time. If you're two-handed, you kind of automatically have the rev rate. So then it becomes a game of like, all right, how do I drill this stuff? How do I learn how to play straighter? Like you attack your weaknesses, which is playing straighter, having less rev rate, like killing the ball. That's harder for two-handers to do. So when you don't have the rev rate, you work on your weaknesses of playing left, slower ball speed, giving the ball more time. It's easier to get your hand under it when you're slower. 3-step, 4-step, like really dumbing down in a very simple game, which is why you don't need a lot of rev rate, because a lot of times the simpler the better in terms of hooking it, because you get a lot less errant shots. So and if you look at a guy like Norm Duke, I mean, he's got a shoulder high backswing and he's got fast feet. He creates his momentum with his feet. And then he just kind of like lets it go. He gets in a good position. Obviously, he's done it his whole life. He knows what he's doing. But you can still get to be a really competitive bowler with not a whole lot. Let the ball do the work, yeah. And especially if you're two-handed, that's all you have to do. It naturally have the rev rate, so then you can just kind of throw this like kill shot where you don't put anything into it and you still have a high rev rate. Well, that's kind of the dream. But most people, including the high rev rate guys, they probably throw it a little too hard still. And the oil's getting to be pretty thick in a lot of these centers. If you bowl in an old center that's on wood or something, it's a little different. Wood, you almost don't want rev rate. Wood is a crazy deal where you can get a lot of different hits and a lot of different ways to get the pins to go down. For a synthetic, it really pays to be able to create the right ball motion. In general, I see the two-handers doing that on the hook shot better. The straight shot, you know, if it's really straight, then yeah, you kind of want to be able to kill your rev rate. One house you bowl out is thick. Yeah, I mean they're making a little thick nowadays. I mean, you throw a couple shots and your ball comes back and it's like, whoa, it's just caked on there. So that kind of tells you that you don't really need to have a lot of ball speed. And for me too, you know, it's just natural to try and do too much. And that was kind of much for me, but oh, you guys didn't even see it. But that's when you get wayward shots, you get weird stuff. And Batandi, lane play stuff, we have a thing called Master the Lane that is 25% off right now. It's 21 videos on exactly lane play. So we do all the patterns. We go through literally fresh burn, all the balls, all the graphs. I'm going to put that link in the description. If I can find it. Yeah, so this Master Lane, if you have any questions, lane play wise, I mean, we cover it to the best of our ability in that Master Lane. And if you use code BF25, should give you 25% off. I'm a bowler, but it's hard to curve. Any tips on the curve? Slow ball speed. Or go two-handed. I am getting a little better two-handed. I don't know what that was. That was I did all of it in the last two steps. I think I should get my third step down a little quicker, but I'm not terrible two-handed at this point. All right, let's try again. We got a four-bagger. Come on. Oh, why don't I just go two-handed, man? To get that hit on tour. To get that hit on tour, guys. To get that hit on tour. Man, what I would do. You're dissecting a slit, yes. And you're not always going to throw it slow, but you can't really dissect patterns and be really considered a good bowler without the ability to drop your ball speed. That is just that's number one. If you want to be a better bowler, okay, you need to learn a new feel, different feels. And to be able to throw at different angles and different speeds, you got to have different like little gears that you have. And most people operate in one gear. Oh, five-bagger. We're going two-handed. Oh, hook a lot. No! That's what I would do. Watching Boog. I bowled Thursday night, Wednesday night, Thanksgiving Eve tournament with Boog. Man, he just makes it look so easy. How can you possibly make it look that easy to hook the ball? And like, you can kind of just aim light and get the head pin off the wall. And you can just throw it all simple. And he's just amazing. Oh, yeah. Come on. Oh, dude. What ball is a great ball for like a beginner curver? Any of them. They all kind of operate in the same window. You can even the Luke Bowling. Yeah, dude. What do you want me to do? That wasn't as good. Kind of lost it there a little bit, you know? I'm playing straight up the lane and also playing deeper. It's harder for me throwing a 12-pound ball, but it's fun. Dude, what are you doing throwing a 12-pound ball? Amina, you got to win the Lucy. Oh, look at this bad boy. Coming back. Dude. I think I need a two-handed arsenal when I go to tour this year, just in case it gets crazy and I gotta like play massive angles. And I don't really need to be like amazing. I just gotta have one shot, one line. Oh boy. I need some work. You can improve my focus while bowling. All right. How does Viking compare to the Origin? It's kind of close, actually. It's not. You guys should update a video slow-mo of your releases for reference. All right. Like your focus. Oh, how can you do that? Oh, you want to know how to improve your focus? I don't know. I don't know, man. You got to get deep into it. You got to figure out why you don't have focus, which I don't. What's everyone doing tonight? Eating Thanksgiving leftover? How hard is it to go from one-handed to two-handed like Darren has done? Do you think Darren is better now than he did? Yes, Darren is better now. I don't want to bowl that guy. One-handed, I'd be like, all right, I'll win some. Two-handed, I'm like, ooh, I don't know, man. See, it's not bad going one-handed to two-handed. Watching football, I know, man. Caleb Williams, dude, like, what are the Bears doing? They're going into Philly and just winning on a Friday night game? Like, come on. The Bears are just... And I got pretty typical. I got DJ Moore. Let's see how many points DJ Moore has. I mean, let's just see, right? 4. AJ Brown, though, has got 17. I'm playing Dennis in fantasy, and he's got CeeDee Lamb. He just drops 26 like it's nothing. Oh, wow. I don't know if you guys can see that. I think next time I'll change the camera angle. Is it illegal to bowl without thumb when you have thumb hole? Yeah. You got to take all the. You got to take. That's why there's no weight holes anymore either. You just can't. You can't have any unused holes in the ball. Oh, I lost it. Man, how do you gutter? That's pretty bad. Throw it to DJ Moore, man. I think I'm losing it a little bit. Can you fill the hole with a ball? No, you can't. Not on the PBA anymore. You can't use anything plugged. So even if you change your pitches and there's enough plug showing, they won't let you. Just because, you know, I don't think anyone on the tour at this point would cheat. I just don't. I mean, you can't say for sure because... Touchdown Bears. Wow, dude. The Bears, man. Caleb Williams is better than Mahomes. That was my one-handed. Can you switch from one-handed to two-handed in the league? Yeah, as long as the ball doesn't have any unused holes. You'll have to have a separate. I mean, league might be a little different, but I'm pretty sure you still got to have balls without. I've had like 50 300s. I don't know. I've lost count. It is hard to go like in competition. I think it's eventually going to happen if there's ever a time where being one-handed is an advantage. There are times. It's just kind of everything's a hook shot right now, so you just won't see people going to one-handed to do the hook shot. Unless it's on like wood or something. Something needs to be a pretty specific deal where rev rate kind of hurts you a little bit. But going from one-handed to two-handed, it's totally possible. People are going to get really good at it and kind of be able to do both. But then you eventually do one a lot more than the other. And then you kind of lose, the timings are different enough to where you kind of lose feel of the one-handed. However, Darren shoots his spares one-handed, which I would suggest just to be safe if you're going from one-handed to two-handed, just because you already kind of know what it's like. But without a plastic ball, two-handed are kind of hurting. They're fine with a plastic ball. I'm not saying the plastic ball is ever going to go away, but I don't know. I mean, the two-handers are some of the best spare shooters on the tour, really. But if you ever need a time where you got to kill the ball, what balls are my go-tos? Phase 2 and Phase 2 Pearl are the middle. Those are go-to. I like the RST Pearl, Hyperdrive Pearl. Above that, into a gym. And then below that, I don't know. I like this Viking. I would say that's a little weaker than the RST if I need a little bit more angle. I've got a drill a little weaker as well, but below the Phase 2, I don't know. I'll throw anything. I guess my favorite ball of all time in that realm would be a High Road X. Later, Talk. Coaching in football makes a huge difference. Look at the Seahawks and the Bears, new coaching winning franchises. Yeah, dude. It's got to be tough to be a coach for one of those teams. Did I play other sports? Yeah, I was a soccer player. I was watching the legend Walter Ray bowl left-handed the other day on YouTube. I think he has surgery on his right shoulder. Yeah, that dude could throw it any way he wants. He's just a good bowler, Thumbless to two hands. Yeah. You might as well put the left hand on it. What's the best way to slow down my ball speed? I have a low rev rate, and sometimes on sport shots I need to slow down. A lot of guys like to move up on the approach a little bit, but you are going to have to teach yourself kind of a new tempo, slower tempo. And when the swing comes through, don't force the swing through. You're going to want to, for sure. And once you feel that like a little more relaxed tempo with a relaxed come down, it'll be easier. Am I officially switching to two-handed? I hope not. It's very tempting, though. It's like, I don't know. It's like trying to show up to a gunfight with a knife. Wow. I prefer any of them. Symmetrical, asymmetric, it don't matter. Just Depends on which one rolls the best. Symmetrical is probably a little bit more controlled. Asymmetrical likes to be a little more aggressive in the mid lane, causing it to either hook a little bit more or roll out a little more. What are some ways to stop my ball from jumping off the spot, even the level overreacts to my house shot? I'm two-handed. Yeah, you got to develop a release that doesn't have as much rev rate. So, I mean, I don't know for sure, but it's one of the harder things to do as a two-hander is to limit your rev rate. Either that or you're going to have to figure out how to get more ball speed. Do you feel like all the things that went into making you a good one-handed bowler will be wasted? I kind of feel like that, especially having spent so much time on my thumb fitment. Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time on my fit. You know, that's one thing that two-handed bowling kind of avoids is like all these trial and error of like spans and thumb pitches and bleeding, and man, that was all part of it. It's like when you were young, you threw a ball and you bled, and then you kind of figured out, all right, we'll try this pitch, and then you eventually come across one where you don't bust open or bleed, and then that's kind of your pitch, at least for me. But it's kind of nice not have to worry about that. One-handed, I mean, yeah, the game's just nice to have rev rate. I mean, it's hard not to, however you can get it. Rev rate plays. So I used to hook the ball better than my opponents when I was younger, but it's not a reality to like hook the ball better than the guys nowadays. So it's very tricky in that regard. Yeah, I mean, you gotta. There's a lot of transition too. A lot of oil moving. The more rev rates on the lanes, the more the oil moves, and there's a lot of it, and it's thickest it's ever been. So the playing field becomes very tricky. I don't know, ball. But, I mean, I bowled a tournament in Oklahoma City the past weekend, and they were so hard. All you had to do was get the 200, man. And it was awesome. I miss that kind of bowling so much. Best way to increase ball speed, you're going to have to create some lag and some momentum, both of them together. So lag being like, don't try and release it so soon. Try and keep it behind you, allowing your body to continue that momentum, and then the swing follows. Swing comes down early. It doesn't necessarily follow the momentum. It beats it. And then you get grabby and you over rev it. String pins. Would you come out to Germany in the summer and bowl the Euro Challenge? Yes. Is that where you are? Are you in Germany right now? I would love to come out to Germany and bowl the Brunswick Euro Challenge. Although the internationals are good, I will say. USA at one point had the best bowlers. We probably still do, but man, have they caught up. I don't know. We'll see. World Championships going on right now. And I guess the guys are bowling doubles. The girls already bowled doubles. The 3 Team USA girls teams made the round of 24 for the doubles, and I believe guys are bowling next or now or whatever. Ah, you're stationed out in Germany. That's cool. Yeah, I've never been. I've only been to Sweden, Japan, and then Kuwait. We went to Kuwait. That was neat. We made some vlogs from Kuwait, and then we laid over in Amsterdam at 7 a.m. So Kyle and we had a 7-hour layover. So they allow you to leave the airport, and we went in downtown Amsterdam and hung out at 8:30 in the morning. The town was a total ghost town. There was nothing going on. Hello from Florida. Yeah, dude. Florida rocks. Yeah, Kyle does pretty good too. And yeah, I mean, yeah, Kyle deals with injuries. So if it ever gets to a point where Kyle doesn't have to deal with injuries, then yeah, I would assume he would go two-handed. He's pretty good at it. You might struggle in some areas, but heck, at least you hook the ball. Saw the other days at Aaron's, but didn't want to bug you. Oh, you should have, man. I'm here all the time. Do you practice on house or sports shots? Do you mostly ask for sports shot to be put out? No. I've been bowling enough to where I don't really care what's out when I practice. I mostly need to like just get a ton of reps, get the arm float in, get my balance right. Make sure things are in line. And I can tell immediately whether it's a house shot or a sports shot if I'm executing it well based on my ball motion. Now, house shots, if you're dead in the easy part of the house shot and you're throwing shots and you're striking, yeah, it might not tell you much, but I don't normally do that. I normally like do some foul line drills. But angles, the game on tour is so hard that you know immediately if you're not doing the right thing, like immediately. Any reason why they pulled the WSOB from being in Wisconsin? It changes every year. It goes to different places. I'm imagining you're bowling in your basement. Yeah, I know, dude. That'd be cool, right? Gosh, how cool would that be? This wouldn't even be my basement. I would just have a cot over here in the corner. And this would just be my home. But a lot of people have. I know Marshall one time, I think it might have been Germany, actually. He was bowling the Brunswick Euro Challenge. His hand blew open, and he finished like the last 4 games of the block two-handed, and he made the cut. He shot what he needed to shoot, like 220, 210, 220. Oh, man. But it's kind of what you're dealing with on tour. And a lot of people ask, like, hey, man, what do you think it takes to be on tour? Or, hey, man, I'm looking to go on tour or something like that. It's like, well, are you one of those guys that it literally does not matter how you throw the ball? As far as bowling in January, I don't know. We're running a clinic in Pennsylvania the 17th and 18th. I'm hoping there's a couple tournaments either the next weekend or the weekend before. I know the 17th and 18th is the weekend they're running the Utah Open, which kind of stinks. I would like to make it out for that event, but Other than that, no, I'm kind of looking. If you got any tournaments in January, let me know. Consistent head stability, like the actual, like your mental game, or actually keeping your head. Because I'm not great at that really, but yes, Sam Cooley made the cut, palming backup. Yes, that's crazy. If you're not one of those guys, you might not make it on tour. I wish there was more. I mean, there are a lot of regionals for sure. But I wish there was like a lot more opportunity for people to like really get some good competitive reps. Because a lot of people want to bowl. But honestly, if you can get to a regional, that plays, it doesn't play like the PBA tour, but there's enough rev rate on the regional tour now where there's a lot of transition and you get a good sense of like, they're great practice. I love going to them because you got to make big moves. You go to certain pairs and have to make big ball changes and big moves. And it's kind of what tour is. You're just hopping around constantly, making all these millions of adjustments. I've only been bowling since post-COVID and learned to bowl one-handed with no thumb. Starting to think I might have to use the second hand because the way I throw is starting to hurt. Yeah. Put the other. I mean, you can Tom Doherty it, but you might as well have that hand on it. I mean, it's not doing anything. Physical head stability, yeah, just videotape yourself. And whichever direction you normally go, like if you're popping up, just exaggerate in the opposite. Just kind of gently go down and try and stay down and videotape yourself. And just keep videotaping yourself till you do it. How would I play medium length, heavy oil patterns? I'm going to Vegas tournament in February at South Point. What is that? Is that the TAT? Is the TAT in February? No, he's not listening to me. Medium length, heavy oil patterns. I'm going to, yeah. Well, there's no like one way. You just got to be prepared for all ways. So urethane, make sure you have it with some surface. Make sure you have Abralon pads. Make sure you got some cleaner covers, and make sure you have some stronger covers. Make sure you have some asymmetric and symmetrical. You can kind of do that with 6 balls, but if you can ship a few balls out there, it'll make you feel a little better. But equipment is a big part. So but just depends on that specific kind of pattern. I feel like there's a lot of urethane. Once urethane goes down the lane, everything, it kind of shapes the lane in a very specific way, transitions the lane in a very specific way. And then it becomes a contest of getting the ball into a roll, because once urethane goes down the lane, it gets what they call slicker down there. And then the earlier you can get your ball into a roll, the less a chance it has to hit that slickness down there. So move back on the approach, can get your ball into a roll a little earlier. Just having some slower ball speed. But generally, if the back ends are tight and urethane's going down the lane and you're missing down lane from too much ball speed, you can't bowl good. There's just no way. So you can use some surface, move back. I would say straighten the angle. I'm not exactly sure on how straight of the angle, but if the angle ever gets to being pretty open, make sure your ball speed's slow, because that's what urethane does. It kind of allows for slower ball speed. What's up, Keen? Is that how you say it? He goes, all right, man. League night tonight. Any last advice? Hit it hard. Strap on it. Maximum rev rate. Get the pins to fly, baby. Ah. See how much faster I throw when I try and hit it? Well, I guess you guys didn't see it. Sean with a C. What's up? What's up, Sebastian? How would you play a medium? Yeah. A YouTube patent on this. Yeah. That'd be nice. Woo. Time is it? It's 5 o'clock here in the Midwest. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's time for some tequila. That's the money line. I get confused when bowlers talk about rolling out versus continuous. They sound like opposite results for me. Yeah, they are opposite results. I guess it comes down to the angle. I don't really know, but there's balls that are so when a ball is rolling out, it's too strong. When a ball is continuing too much, it's too angular, it's too weak, it's getting down the lane too clean. But there's also times where a really weak ball will just kind of go dead straight because it's meant to kind of go straight. So if it doesn't ever actually hook at all, then it's too weak. If it's too angular, it's a little too weak. And then you can use some stronger bowling balls, like some asymmetric bowling balls, to try and like control the mid lane a little better, and then you can get some room. But I mean, if you're throwing the strongest ball in the market, it's never going to be too clean. So whenever it's not striking, it's pretty obvious, like what's going on. You can only go one direction in your arsenal at that point. When you're throwing a phase 2 and it's rolling out, then maybe you need a cleaner cover. But it's also not, that stuff's not really 100%. I mean, some people, when I throw bowling balls and the reaction I get out of them and what I see and what I think isn't necessarily the same thing that like a Stu Williams or Chris Barnes or somebody else might think. Frankie, Lavoie, Kyle, everyone kind of throws their own balls and their own layouts, and for some balls, like they're a little quicker for others, and depending on how you drill them, and it's a kind of a big gray area to know like which ball is actually locking up and going too forward. Which is why you got to like kind of rely on like the numbers of the actual ball. It never really totally fools you. There's been times where I'm throwing a ball, the lanes are hooking, and actually this happened. I had like the IQ Pearl and a couple other balls, like weaker balls, but I was throwing this lights out that was drilled to kind of flare, and I'm trying to hook it, and Jake Peters comes to me, this is like 12 years ago in Chicago, and he goes, "You have anything that doesn't flare?" And I didn't really know much about it at the time. And I'm like, "I don't know." And he goes, "What about that IQ Pearl?" And I'm like, "Okay." And then I threw it, and it got down the lane so much better. And I'm like, wow, just because of the flare. So at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. But there's also a good trial and error period where if a ball is not striking, there's a reason, and then you go to a different ball, and then that's just a trial. Not like you don't know for sure that ball change is going to work. If you're bowling on the same thing consistently, then you can kind of have a pretty good guess, and it might work a lot. But when you're bowling in a tournament and different houses on different lanes, you're really always just trial and error. So is it locking up? Is it going too long? Is it too clean? You kind of just look at the ball and where it's at in the lineup. If it's on the lower end, then it's probably too clean. If it's on the higher end, it's probably rolling out. And then from there, which one do I actually need? I don't know, man. That's one of that's one of the hardest things to actually pinpoint because everyone throws it so different. So you have to really trust your eyes. And Brad Angelo will tell you, the most important ball in your arsenal is your eyeball. And it's true. It's like you really, you throw a ball, if it strikes, if it doesn't, then you throw it a couple more times and then you try something else. And then eventually you get to a point where you like certain balls. So you just go to those. It's like, oh, I like going from a phase 2 to an Ion Pro Solid. The difference in differential there is pretty good. So even though the Ion Pro Solid, can be still a fairly strong blown ball, it doesn't have diff. So I get a pretty big different reaction going to that ball. I like that ball. I trust that ball. So that's the first one I go to. If that doesn't work, then I've got other options. But as you do it more often, you bowl these tournaments every weekend, you just start to go, that one to this one to that one to this one. And I really, if those don't work, yeah, I'll branch out to these. But this core 4 or 5 or 6, but in order to get that, since it's different from person to person, you really got to go through some trial and error. You got to see what guys are throwing. And, tournaments are only on the weekends. So are you leaving? Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about coming up tomorrow and Sunday just to practice a little bit. But I'll be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. So, all right. I got to go to Pennsylvania probably Thursday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I'll be here. All right, brother. Thanks for everything. Money in the bank. Like this, like in Oklahoma City this weekend, right? Pattern's hard. 2 on synthetic, 2 on wood. And all you got to do is get to 200, okay? So my first squad I bowled, I was unaware of how the pattern was going to play, how hard it was going to be, the difference between wood and synthetic. I didn't know what my strategy needed to be. I tried a couple of different bowling balls that really didn't give me any room. And it's a pattern that, both of them on each side, you couldn't miss. Very difficult. And if you were a little fast, past the head pin. If you were a little slow, boom, it hooked. If you were a little right or left, both of those. So you had to be very accurate, okay? There are balls in that situation that'll make you feel like you have to be even more accurate. Like every little miss is a little bit too offline. And then you're going to find a ball eventually that you actually miss it a pinch left and it holds. And you're like, whoa, I haven't seen that. So then that's the ball you go with. And so I was doing that. I was throwing 3 or 4 different balls, couldn't find anything, didn't have any miss room, pulled out this phase 2, and I pinched one left, and it kind of hell, it tripped the 4. I'm like, ooh, that was dead through the nose with every other ball. So then I stayed with it and played around with it, moved a little bit left, see what happened there, made some misses, see what happened when I make these certain misses. If I miss long, what did it do? And I got a really good idea of what this phase 2 was doing. And then I was able to stick with it the whole tournament. It gave me the best ball motion. I didn't switch balls once. And I had to trial a few different balls before I got to this phase 2. But based on all the other ones, this one was clearly giving me just a pinch of room. And when you need to get to 200, that's all you need. And so the symmetric in it is what ultimately, symmetric balls are a little smoother in nature. So I was throwing the Viking and some of these asymmetric balls, and I go to just a very middle of the road, phase 2, strong, pretty strong cover, not overly strong, and then just not an overly strong core, very just center. And now all of a sudden my angles are right in front of me, and it's decent ball motion. And then I can get to the hole. And then if all you need to do is get to 200, well, then that's it. You just got to get to the hole, make your spares. Hopefully you throw 3 or 4 good ones in a row and you actually get some hits. You're not even looking to go flush. You're looking to literally just hit the pocket, and hopefully they just go down. And if they don't go down, then you just make the spare and you just keep doing that. That is the only strategy. But I would have averaged 170 with a group of certain bowling balls. I can actually average 200 with a phase 2 because I can get to the hole consistently. Phase 2 Pearl today, yes. Thanks for the thoughtful, well-explained answers, Brad. I've been watching you and Kyle since I started. I really appreciate you guys. Good luck on tour. Yeah, no problem. How much different are the Gremlin and the Phase 2 Pearl? Both be in the bag. Oh, yeah, the Gremlin's asymmetric. That's a pretty big engine. It likes to read the mid lane, pretty good front to back. It's got a pretty big hook window. The Phase 2, like I was saying, it's symmetric. It's not as strong in the mid lane. It's going to provide a much more round shape. In some buildings, you just need pearlized covers. In some buildings, you want a little solid cover, and then the face, now you got both of them. But let's say we're bowling on something that's really difficult, and you pull out a ball that like gives you left, and you already don't have miss right. You're not going to get miss right. You know, there's really not a ball out there where you're going to get miss right, because the pattern just doesn't allow it, and there's not a ball that's going to get you it, because the ball that's getting you a little bit miss right is overhooking in the middle of the lane. If you can get a ball like a Phase 2 or something really smooth to actually tip from the right, then you really got something. I saw Ethan Fiore do it a little bit. When he added some loft, he can get it to tip a little bit, but it's still, you know, you're really risking it trying to play open angles on a pattern that doesn't allow you to. So you find a ball that gives you a little bit miss left, and you just play that. You don't even you shut down your ability to miss right. And now everything is either on target or a little bit left, and that'll get you to the hole, you know. And if you accidentally, you know, shut it down a little too much, there's a chance it goes Brooklyn. If you miss to the right, it is nothing. And I'm telling you, when 200 is a good score, Brooklyn's play. It's part of the strategy. I'm locking my angles completely down, and I'm throwing this little fader to the pocket, and that. If that's my miss left and I just 6'10", great. I can spare that. If I miss a little bit more, I can carry the Brooklyn. Hey, Kristen. Just got my Phase 2, yeah. Hello from Korea. Hey, Storm Cup's coming up. You gonna be around the Storm Cup? We're not gonna make it this year, but is there much difference between the new Gremlin and the RST2? I have A2 thinking about getting the Gremlin. I like the Pearl better, the RST Pearl. I think that's the best ball they've made in a while. Gremlin's good though, but if you had to choose, I would choose the RST. In fact, that little so they released the RST Pearl, and then they released the Equinox Solid. And then there was one more, maybe the Phase 2 Pearl. And then they got another one coming out. But that 3 or 4 ball stretch was really good. I mean, RST Pearl, Equinox Solid, solid cover, asymmetric. You know, both those are pretty strong. Phase 2 Pearl is a ball down from either of those. So they, and then of course you got the Ion Pro Solid that should stay around for a while. That's a little bit less flare. You're going to notice it's not going to be as strong. And it's nice to have a solid cover bowling ball that doesn't flare that much. You really notice a difference when you're going from like one strong ball to the next that like flares, and you're kind of struggling, and then you go to a ball that doesn't have a lot of differential, it doesn't flare a whole lot. There's a big difference in ball reaction there. It's pretty significant. And at that point, you just, you know, you need to make sure the ball is still rolling and hooking, because if it goes too straight, then it's going to be difficult to really do a whole lot with it. But that's why the solid is nice, because the solid cover stock still picks up and rolls. I'm picking up the rest of my arsenal today for Team USA trials. Nice. Good luck out there. The Bradley this year. What's up, Jerry? If I ever come to California, you're gonna put us up in Malibu, right on the beach. we went to Redlands. I've only ever thrown hammer. What ball would you recommend for Storm that would be comparable to a Widow or even a Vibe? Well, the Black Widow's kind of strong, but Vibe's pretty weak. So The Widow, I mean, I'm just getting the RST Pearl and drill it pin down. Don't drill it too strong. Drill it to not flare a ton. And I think it'll be good. Are you just starting to work? You just get here?
I've been here. I just said hello. I didn't see you sneak in.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Anything you need?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. Are you leaving?
Get here.
Okay. Well.
Time to bowl, but I just don't have it anymore. I'm just worn out.
Do you normally bowl on Friday nights?
No.
No.
I mean, it is a little nuttier out here too.
But some nights, yeah.
Sometimes, but just run it. I'll run it all day.
Yeah.
I feel like going another hour.
Especially when it's busy.
How about Sunday instead? Yeah.
All right, brother. Later. Caleb Williams, man. What in the world? Central Cali. Come to Connecticut. Well, we're coming to Allentown. We are going to Rochester this year and Portland, Maine. I should move right. I don't have a tournament this weekend, but it's a tournament in Pennsylvania next weekend, and then Holiday Doubles the weekend after that. Holiday Doubles, man. It's a fun tournament here in St. Louis, in Missouri. All right, we're moving right. Oh. So we have some clinics coming up. If you guys are interested in some clinics, check those two out. One here in Kansas City, right here, on December 20th. And then we got one. How many regionals have I won? We have a clinic in Allentown, Pennsylvania, January 17, 18. We would love for you to come. Dinner time later. See you later. What ball is close to the vibe? I'm looking to trade up. Get an eye on Pro Solid. You won't be disappointed. It's not exactly like a vibe, but exactly like a vibe would be kind of like a hustle. So if you want to get a hustle, that's fine too. It's pretty good. I've been throwing them a little bit more, but just can't. Yeah, buy the RST Pro. That's a really good one. What's up, Cooper? Have I ever thrown the purple hammer? No, I've never thrown a purple hammer. Kyle's actually beat me with it in a match play on Cheetah. Came down to game 5. I needed a strikeout in the 10th. Choked it off. Buying a new ball tomorrow? There you go. What pattern would you say is better for long-term practice? High volume and pattern has lots of hold in the middle. Practice on Wall Street and V2, and it cliffs hard. I don't know. I think you can practice on anything. Just make sure that you're practicing your speeds. Wow, that was nice. I tried a new camera angle. I think I'm blocking the pins too much. I think I'm gonna go back to coming from the right, you know. Were the urethane hardness changes solely because of the purple hammer success? Well, that kickstarted it. that was a tough time to bowl on tour because, man, it's like it was hard to win without it. And you know, in amateur tournaments too, and it's still going strong in amateur tournaments. But now, I honestly don't. It's really not. There's been moments where And there were a couple of years that you can't throw the 17 and 18 versions, but anymore it's like you can get just as good urethane reaction with any of them. And in fact, sometimes the purple's too strong and slow, and people throw the black a lot, and then a lot of people throw this red one. The IQ 78, when I go to amateur tournaments, you know, the younger kids mostly are two-handed, but I watch what they throw, and they prefer this red one. Very interesting. It's got a little bit more flair to it, but you can drill it not to flare. But there's always, it kind of seems tough to gain a big advantage with reactive right now because, it only gets thrown, you know, it only gets thrown so often. It gets thrown maybe half the games, maybe. And there's a bunch of different reactives to throw. So you go to different ones and, you know, there's not one, there's ones that stand out for sure. But when we only throw half the games with reactive and then half the games with one orb, an IQ 78, it's like, well, then that's going to be a very important bowling ball. So if you don't throw much urethane, then when the times where it's really good, then you're really at a disadvantage. But you know, USBC ran a big study on urethane hardness and at the US Open a while ago, and they kind of deemed it didn't matter. And at this time, it was kind of new, but people were winning a lot of tournaments with just a urethane ball. Like they weren't switching at all. And there were some guys on tour that were bowling the whole season with literally one orb. They weren't even going to a different one. They were throwing one orb. And then USBC came out and said, it doesn't really matter if they're soft or not. And I'm like, wow, dude, I don't know, man. It's like the conversation really seemed to be like, do you have a soft one? Like, do you have this specific one or this specific model or this specific batch? And I really thought that was kind of crappy. You know, it's not a great section of the game where people are really like trying to look for like old, very specific, and then only some people have access to those. That's kind of my gripe with the urethane game is like there is an advantage to be had depending on the softness of the core. It might be small and it might be very situational, but there are going to be times where the difference can provide an advantage. And now I think USBC has kind of flipped the script a little bit. I don't know if they necessarily care about the hardness, but I think they see that so many people are throwing urethane, especially at like a junior gold, where it's really, I think it's kind of in competitive tournament bowling, it's really like people are playing fourth and fifth arrow with urethane balls now, especially overseas. So if they're throwing fourth and fifth arrow with urethane balls, then man, that puts reactive in a tough spot, because that's when you're supposed to throw reactive. Which urethane do I use the most, if not the purple? No, I've never thrown a purple. I've always been on Storm. I was with Motive, and then I had a little break, and then I was with Storm. I don't even know if the purple was like a thing when I was on a break. It might have been maybe. But no, I've literally never thrown a purple hammer. But the pitch black was it was just as good. It is just as good. And then now in the competition realm, we can't throw the pitch black, we can throw the 78, and that's just like, there's always just been but for some reason the purple just got a lot of press. And also, you know, there was a fine line there. I mean, those couple years, you know, it's public record that they kind of knew they were soft. So the whole urethane gig is just kind of tough in that regard. I averaged 210 typical house shot, but struggle on sport. On 33 foot yesterday, I go high play in the gutter. Adding speed makes it earlier, and a 2-1 move makes it 3-pin. What's the right adjustment? Yeah, you're way too far right, and you're throwing it way too hard. You have to develop a soft, smooth, slow, nothing to it shot like that. And look, it does just fine. But you're not going to be able to hook the ball unless you really teach yourself a bottom gear, very bottom gear. I was the only one at the Euro Challenge throwing reactive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you know. Watching this journey about urethane to go from they were winning a lot of tournaments to now it gets thrown every pattern it gets thrown. It just, even I would prefer over a lot of reactive in competition settings. In league, never. But in competition on sport patterns that you have to get, now you got to get 240, 250, 260 on the fresh. And guys are doing that throwing urethane. You're not going to be able to do that throwing reactive. They're just two different balls that if urethane is just matching up like that, then you got to throw it. And I agree. I would rather throw it. So even for a low rev guy. So it just, you know, and you see these overseas tournaments, everyone's throwing it pretty much every ball. And it's like, wow, you know, it's really put reactive in a tough spot. For most people in the sport, it hasn't, because you can still get away with throwing all your reactive in league. But in competition, yeah, we're struggling on the reactive end. Not because the reactive balls aren't any good. It's just once enough urethane goes down the lane with rev rate, it makes the back ends slick, and it makes these just a pinch uncontrollable. And most people, you just get really far left from that initial laydown area with urethane, and you slow wheel it with a reactive ball, and then you just kind of pick the reactive ball you like the most, and that's kind of the deal. But even at that, if you're not getting your pins with urethane, then you're pretty much toast, because guys are getting, you know, they're averaging 250 on the fresh with urethane, and then they go to reactive. And if you're not unbelievable at hooking the ball like some of these guys are, and you don't get your pins with urethane, then you're not going to get your pins. You're not going to catch up. So you're basically forced into urethane once people start throwing it. I was the only one, yeah. Hey, Brad, if my idle Helios isn't matching my game, keeps checking up through the face no matter how much I move left, and increasing my ball speed isn't working, what should I do? I'm one-hander 300. Oh, if you're one-handed 300 and the idle Helios is hooking too much, that's not a ball thing. You're one-handed 300. Your ball should never be hooking too much. There's got to be people in the league that have higher rev rates than you that don't have that problem, or else everyone in the league would have that exact same problem, which they might. But are there slots? There are slots in Pennsylvania, yes. I just watched, at least I think so. I'm pretty sure we played a slot machine there. Pretty sure. I bowl regular style, no spins at all. I was wondering every time I throw it goes to the left. Why is that? Your shoulders and hips are just closed. You got to keep this right shoulder back and, you know, somehow get this hip open. Yeah, Kyle's impersonation of Fresh. Yeah, that was a good one. Oh, no. 0 minutes remaining. All right. I don't want to get my ball stuck. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you guys enjoy your Friday night. I'm going to put a link. We have 25% off everything. So merch, just go to bradandkyle.com for merch. And we'd love for you to buy some stuff, buy some jerseys, I don't know, having a great sale. H5G is our sponsor in that regard. And 25% off all of our coaching products. So Master of the Lane, I'll put that link in here. That is where are we at? What? lost my master of the lane. There we go. This is about ball motion. So we filmed 21 videos about ball motion that goes as deep as possible into it. Fresh burn, all the patterns, all the balls. And then if you're looking for some more personal coaching in our membership, we are offering 25% off and a one-on-one consultation. So when you sign up, we will schedule a 20-minute consultation. We'll go over what you're going to expect in the group, how to interact in the group, what your arsenal looks like, what ball you need for with that you get with it. And, we'll just get to know you and see how we can provide a good service to you. I'll put that link in the description as well. And yeah, that's what we got going on. Let me find it. Here you go. So if you use code, Cowboys, whatever. Oh, no. Okay. So you got to use code BF25 when checking out, and you get 25% off. So we'll coach you for the year. You get to be a part of the group, the membership, and Master Lane 25% off. Use code BF25, and then our merch over at BradandKyle.com. We got jerseys and T-shirts and all the sorts. So that's what we got. Rams, come on, man. I think the Chiefs still might make it. Chiefs are going to make it. They just can't win. And Dallas is looking pretty good right now. This Pickens and CeeDee Lamb duo they got's really something, huh? It's really something. I don't know how they snagged Pickens, but they did. All right, guys. Well, you have a great weekend. I might be back live tomorrow. I might be throwing some shots tomorrow. I might hook up with you guys and hang out a little bit. If not, I'll probably be live Sunday. If not, I'll be live Monday. How many games do you typically get out of a bowling ball before you retire it? I don't know. 50 to 60. So, all righty. I'm out of here. See you guys.